Here we are entering our back entrance to the church, which is just off the courtyard back here. You can see it's just off the back parking lot as well. And you'll see we'll go in the door here. On a Sunday morning, you will likely come through this door. You'll see that there's a choice of masks. If you want to wear your own mask from home, please feel free to do so. If you did not bring a mask, we invite you to put on either a disposable one, a reusable one, the black ones, or for kids, there are disposable kid-size masks that are camo colored. So we invite you to use one of those masks if you do not have your own before you come. Normally on a Sunday morning, there would be bulletins in this red basket, and you would take one of those for each person in your family or in your party that's going to be worshiping with us. It just has some words, some of the hymn numbers, things like that are listed. And then you'll see that there's a sign-in sheet. This clipboard with the sign-in sheet is really for everybody who attends in order to keep track of who's here for certain things. If we have to contact people for contact tracing, this clipboard and the sign-in sheet is what we use. You can see here that this is a hand sanitizer station. You actually push down with your foot and it comes out at the top. And we invite you to use hand sanitizer frequently. Washing your hands is actually better, but when you can't wash your hands, when you can't get to the bathroom to wash your hands, hand sanitizer is a good alternative. We will probably have hand sanitizer at multiple different places. Right now, there's one at the entrance to the sanctuary. There's one inside the sanctuary, actually a couple of them inside the sanctuary. And we just invite you to use them whenever you need to. Here you can see our fellowship hall and the entrance to the sanctuary. So that entrance to the sanctuary there, you can see we just used that one entrance. And the wall, the sliding wall here that looks like it has a U and a C, they're leftover decorations from Vacation Bible School. Sometimes we slide that wall away and have an open, one single room between the sanctuary and the fellowship hall. But on Sunday mornings, you'll be invited to come and share coffee with us in the fellowship hall. And normally on Sunday mornings, beginning with September 5th, we'll have coffee at 9 a.m. For a while, we're going to keep it to strictly coffee and juice, perhaps, because we want to make sure that people mask as much as possible. And if we provide a lot of food, then it takes a lot of time to have your mask down. We know some people are not comfortable being indoors with others unmasked. You may want to take your coffee outside, or you may choose not to come to this coffee hour time. But then when it's time for worship, we'll all enter through the sanctuary door here. Again, when you're coming in from the back door, or when you're coming in the sanctuary door, just remember, we're not going to put dots on the floor where you're supposed to separate, but we invite you just to consciously not bunch up and not be real super close to each other. As we're walking toward things, toward the sanctuary, toward coffee hour, inside the building, all of those different things. We hope you'll join us. Thanks. As you enter the sanctuary United in Faith, you'll see we have some hand sanitizer, both sides. As you're entering in, you're welcome to use that also on the little table. Just inside the sanctuary, you'll see that the offering plate is there. There's Kleenexes and hand sanitizer for your use. You can see that there are a lot of different set places throughout the sanctuary space. So some of these would work very well for a family of 4 or 5, or a family of 3, maybe. But you'll also notice that in some places, if I sit, for example, here, the seat that is on the other end of the row that I'm in is also a seat that could have somebody sitting in it. So that one right there and we'd be far enough apart that we're not breathing each other's air. Again, during our worship services, we'll have masks on. And when it's time for communion, you'll come up here toward the altar, where I will be standing in front of you, around here, and I will offer you one of the communion packets. I'm going to show this to you just so you have some information. If you need gluten-free, please let us know. There are gluten-free wafers. They have their own individual packaging, so we'll give you one of those gluten-free wafers. And if you don't need gluten-free, we'll give you one of these individual communion packets. And I don't know if you can see, but the very top has the wafer in it, and then down in the bottom is where the grape juice is. I find that by pushing the dark plastic, you can kind of notice that that top layer of thin, clear plastic also comes up. If you peel that back, you'll see that it exposes the wafer, which is the first part of opening your communion. And then you peel back the purple part, which is the second part, and that exposes the grape juice so that you can drink the grape juice then. When you come up to the altar for communion, you'll receive one of these. You'll walk back to your seat and sit in your seat, and then take your mask off so that you can take communion. We want you to be back in your seat before you're taking communion. And then you'll notice that there are trash cans. You can put it in the trash can yourself. There's actually one by the back door as well, right there. And in doing so, we're all keeping from touching each other's stuff. That's the concern with COVID, and so that's what we're paying attention to. I'll also remind you that while you're in the worship space, we have, as part of our service, the peace of the Lord be with you, and then the congregation responds, and also with you. And I invite the congregation to share the peace with each other. Now, that used to mean we went around and hugged everybody, or gave everybody handshakes, or just greeted everybody very warmly. Now with COVID, we have to be a little more conscious about it, a little more careful. And for some people, it's just peace be with you. For some people, it's a fist bump. Fist bump. For some people, it's an elbow. We did a bunch of elbow taps this past weekend. And I would invite you just to wait and see what your neighbor is comfortable with, because it's a reminder that we are all in different situations. Not all of us have the same risk level, not all of us have the same comfort level, and all of us have different things we're experiencing in our homes. Maybe people we live with that are immunocompromised, or maybe just we know what our daily life is like and it's a little different than yours. So whatever it is, just be patient with each other. We still want to greet each other with a word of peace, even if it has to be sort of from afar. So feel free to greet one another with that sign of peace as you can do that. I pray that whatever you come here, whether it be virtual service or in-person service, I pray that you will experience God's presence and that you will know that God is with you here in this place and in your life. Amen. And here we are at the restroom. You'll see that it says only one person at a time in the bathroom. You can see that I've worn my mask to come in here. Let's put it down here so you can see I've worn my mask to come in here. If you are alone in the bathroom, you could remove your mask for a bit. If you need a minute to breathe, just catch your breath. And when you wash your hands, we invite you to wash your hands for a good 20 seconds or more. Here at United in Faith, we also have touchless paper towel dispensers. So the paper towel will come out without you having to touch that. You will have to touch to get the soap, but then after you've washed your hands, feel free to use that towel to turn off the water, to turn off the light if you're the last person in the bathroom, and then make sure you put up your mask in order to go back to the fellowship hall.